And welcome to the broadcast. Our top story at this hour, an intruder demanding to see U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi broke into her San Francisco home on Friday. Her husband was attacked with a hammer. The assault stoked fears about political violence ahead of the November 8th midterm elections. Paul Pelosi was taken to a San Francisco hospital where he underwent surgery for a skull fracture. The 82-year-old also suffered injuries to his right arm and hands. The attacker has been arrested and a motive had not been yet determined. The attacker was heard shouting, "Where is Nancy? Where is Nancy?" The shouts are a chilling echo of the chants during the U.S. Capitol insurrection when rioters searched menacingly through the halls for her. The attack raises questions about the safety of members of Congress and their families.
Our officers observed Mr. Pelosi and the suspect both holding a hammer. The suspect pulled the hammer away from Mr. Pelosi and violently assaulted him with it. Our officers immediately tackled the suspect, disarmed him, took him into custody, requested emergency backup, and rendered medical aid. The suspect has been identified as 42-year-old David DePepe.
Pelosi was in Washington when the assault occurred and flew back to San Francisco. U.S. President Joe Biden condemned the attack on the Democratic Speaker of the House of Representatives, who is second in the constitutional line of succession to the U.S. presidency.
This is despicable. There's no place in America. There's too much violence, political violence. Too much hatred, too much vitriol. And what makes us think the one party can talk about stolen elections?
Addressing a campaign rally in Philadelphia, Biden went on to condemn political violence in the United States, adding, "Enough is enough." Members of both Democratic and Republican parties rallied to support the Pelosis on social media, with several suggesting the assault was the inevitable result of an increase in violent political rhetoric plaguing public discourse.
What makes us think that it's not going to corrode the political climate? Enough is enough is enough. Every person of good conscience needs to clearly and unambiguously stand up against the violence in our politics, regardless of what your politics are. All of us together as Americans, knowing Paul and Nancy and the families I do, they're tough as they come, but we're praying for them. We're optimistic for his full recovery.
I mean, this was an act of extreme violence, and I think we're looking at a time in our country where there is so much discourse that is fueled by hate and division. And anyone who professes to be a leader, I think, has to really understand the meaning and the impact of their words and their posture on things like this.
But that's a terrible thing. I mean, I've known Paul forever. We tease about my mother is first-generation Italian-American, so we talk about we call ourselves the Italians gathering here.
With less than 2 weeks to go before the crucial U.S. midterm elections, members of both parties have sounded the alarm about the possibility of political violence. According to the Capitol Police, threats against lawmakers have more than doubled to more than 9,000 annually since 2017. And for more on the story, our correspondent Suzette Erani has sent us this report from New York.
The attack at Speaker Nancy Pelosi's home really shows the vulnerabilities that members of the House and Senate have in regards to their security surroundings. While they do also have plainclothes officers at all times, usually these Secret Services and officers travel with lawmakers to Capitol Hill and elsewhere, and they are not stationed at the individual's home taking or protecting their family members, understandably. Both sides of the aisle are calling for a lowering of the political temperature around the country and blaming this incident on the rhetoric that's been surrounding the upcoming elections. For example, Governor Gavin Newsom of California, he denounced the attack on Paul Pelosi as an example of the consequences of divisive and hateful political rhetoric. On the other side of the aisle, Senator Ben Sasse, he's a retiring Republican. He said in a statement that every single American needs to be lowering the temperature. This is an increasingly obvious issue. Disturbed individuals easily succumb to conspiracy theories and rage. The consequences are bloody and un-American. Investigation is still ongoing, although that individual has been arrested and is in custody. Susan Tehrani reporting from New York for WION World is One.
WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.